TheMesh.tv, an online network of original free audio and video shows based out of Western North Carolina, reaching the entire world. Listen and watch through iTunes or through the website TheMesh.tv.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the RealTailgate.com College Football Hangout, sponsored by Smithfield's Chicken and Barbecue. This is a weekly Google Hangout devoted to college football in North Carolina. I'm your host, Big J. Waldo. Ben Swain is in the producer's chair every Wednesday at 9:30. Please join us in this hangout as we talk football in the North Carolina ACC schools as well as East Carolina. You can watch live or you can watch archived editions of the show at RealTailgate.com. If you would like to get in on the conversation, log on to RealTailgate.com for more information. We'd like very much to thank our sponsors, Smithfield's Chicken and Barbecue, as they remind us it's just not a tailgate without the barbecue. Again, you can log on to RealTailgate.com, get a list of locations for Smithfield's Chicken and Barbecue, special offers, download the RealTailgate.com College Football Podcast. Tonight I'd like to welcome our guests to this seminal show. We have, again, our producer, Ben Swain, from the Walk-Ons. We also have J.P. Mundy from SB Nation. We have James Curl from RiddickandReynolds.com. We have Sean Crest from Bottom of the Pile Podcast. We also have Shane Ryan from Grantland. And Dimitri Ravanos from the RealTailgate.com College Football Program. I'd like to say right now, big thank you, huge, to our technical producer, Talking Moose Media. You can find them on the web. They're excellent at what they do. All right, gentlemen, I'm going to jump right in here with our first question. I think all of you have had a chance to cogitate on this a little today. Last year, after posting a regular season record of 6-6, and going just 3-5 in the conference, Duke's David Cutcliffe was named ACC Coach of the Year by both the ACC media and his peers. The question is he the best coach in the ACC? J.P. Mundy.
Well, I'm kind of partial to Jim Grove myself, but what he's done at Duke is unprecedented, except for the Spurrier years, in my opinion. I think he's brought enough talent to win, or at least be competitive at Duke, and he had a great season last year. I think his long experience in the SEC as both an offensive coordinator and a head coach is, I think that just helps him immensely, and he immediately got a football focus over at Duke.
All right, we'll move on to Shane Ryan. How about you? Do you think this guy is the best coach in the ACC?
I don't think so, no. I will give David Cutcliffe credit for changing the perception of the Duke football program without actually changing the reality of what it is. When you look at his 5 years coaching, he last year ends the season with 5 straight losses, 7 straight the year before, 3 straight, 4 straight, 5 straight going back to his first year. And right now, if you look at his ACC record, he is 9-31 in the ACC in his 5 years. Fred Goldsmith, who came before Ted Roof and Carl Franks at Duke, was 8-32, and I don't think anybody was singing his praises. Now, if he goes 6-6 again this year, I think that changes the discussion for sure. But I think 5-7 is sort of the high watermark for Duke this year. So I think we're going to go back probably to the 3-9 years or something similar that we saw 2 years before.
Okay, that's pretty clear. How about you, Ben Swain? Is anybody going to step up to defend Coach Cutcliffe is what I'm asking.
I think 3-9 would be a massive step back, especially with this schedule. I don't see that happening this year. But to answer the question, no, I don't think he's the best coach in the ACC. I think we get too tied into doing the most with the least in terms of saying someone is the best coach. But, I mean, you got to look at like a Frank Beamer at Virginia Tech, who's just been so good for so many years and has really carried the ACC in terms of results, as someone who's the best coach. I think maybe the better argument is Cutcliffe is the best coach in North Carolina. I think that used to be Grove. I think he's kind of in the twilight of what he's doing at Wake Forest. But I'll defend him. I think he's better than Shane's giving him credit for, but I don't think he's the best coach in the ACC.
Fair enough. Dimitri Ravanos.
Look, I think a lot has to be made out of doing the most with the least. Now, no, it doesn't make him the best coach in the ACC. But Frank Beamer, give me a break. If we were having this conversation 6 years ago, I'd be with you. Right now, I think there are about 3 guys that have passed him by. Dabo, even though Dabo has never met a defense that he knows what to do with. I think Larry Fedora is knocking on the door of being the best coach in the ACC. And believe it or not, I still think Grobe is a better coach than Beamer. I think Beamer has had the absolute advantage of being able so far to kind of pick and choose who he wants out of Virginia, because UVA hasn't done jack here lately. And Virginia's still a pretty fertile recruiting ground. I think Beamer is so far down the list, or I'm sorry, has slid so far off of where he used to be that it's hard for me to say he's the best in the ACC. Coach Cutcliffe does a lot with a very little, but that's compared to what Duke has done. I don't think he's the best in the ACC, but I don't think you can poo-poo doing a lot with a little for him.
Fair enough. James Curl?
Well, I was trying to come up with a set of criteria in my own mind as to what constitutes the best coach, and I think it differs from program to program. I look at what Dabo Swinney has done at Clemson, and he's revitalized that program there, and he's done it by bringing in talent levels that they haven't seen in years. So, a lot of times in basketball, we'll give a guy like, say, Roy Williams credit as a coach for his recruiting talents. Dabo also has done that at Clemson. Yes, he has struggled to get some defenses, and hasn't gotten Clemson over that hump, but he's elevated them to a higher level. I think with Duke, their culture is slowly changing. It used to be that it was nearly impossible to win at Duke, but I think the administration at Duke has realized that football is critical to them moving forward. So I think we've started to see some of their some of the loosening of their ability to recruit players that maybe wouldn't have gone to school at Duke maybe a decade or so ago. I don't know. It's tough for me to say. I don't know that I'm sold on Grobe as the best coach in the league. I don't know that I have a very good answer for that, but I'm inclined to not say that Cut is the best coach.
Fair enough. Now we're going to go to the bottom of the pile. No pun intended. For Sean Kress, what do you got?
Well, I don't think it's accurate to say that he's done a lot with a little. Dave Cutcliffe has done a lot with nothing. I mean, you look at what that program was before he got there. A short time before he arrived, they proved in court that they were the worst program in Division I. So I think that what he's done in the short time that he's done it is pretty impressive. Now, I don't necessarily think that means that he's the best coach yet. I think he's still got some work to do. He's got to get a winning season. He's got to win a bowl game. He's got to win in November. Nobody's mentioned Al Golden. I would say that he should get some consideration. He did a lot with a little at Temple, and now he's trying to take that next step at Miami. And I think that's Cutcliffe's maybe a year or two behind where Golden is right now. He's done the rebuilding job. Now he's got to take that next step and be a consistent contender year after year in a league like the ACC.
Okay. I'm going to throw you guys a curveball. This wasn't on the canned questions, but I'm going to go left to right in order on my screen and ask you, give me the 2 best coaches in the ACC. Ben Swain.
I mean, if we're talking right now, Sean made a great point about Al Golden, and he really impressed me at the ACC kickoff. I asked him a question about what the ceiling was for the ACC in terms of being a competitive football conference, and his answer is basically it's not going to get there unless Miami pulls their end of the bargain, which I wanted to hear because Miami's just done nothing since they joined the league. I think Al Golden is there. I do think Frank Beamer deserves more credit than being on the downswing. I think they had a bad year last year, but you look at results and they stand up against anyone else. I think it's hard to knock him off of that top just yet. So I'd say Golden and Frank Beamer.
Okay, Dimitri, slightly briefer than Ben, if you can.
Yeah, I will definitely agree that Golden is one of the top coaches in the league. And, I guess I'll go Dabo, who's probably a better recruiter than coach, but I think you can't discount the fact that he's turned Clemson into the powerhouse program of this conference, at least going into this season.
Okay. Next we got JP.
I think I'm going to go Dabo first. I agree with the guys that he is definitely. I think he's changed the program to where it's finally meeting some of their fans' expectations as the ACC's powerhouse. And then I'll throw in, laugh if you want, Paul Johnson. He runs an unconventional offense. Very rarely has a skill position player, but he's getting a lot out of that, and he's very competitive every year.
Okay, James.
I'll go Dabo and Beamer.
That was nice and brief. Thank you. Shane Ryan.
I have a 10-minute speech on why my two answers are Golden and no. I think Ben Swain seduced me with his argument, as he always does. I think Golden and Beamer is a great answer.
Excellent. Ben Swain. What is a male seductor?
I'm going to call him a seductress, even though it's not the female version. He has the same effect on me.
First show, I'm exposing my lack of vocabulary. Okay, Sean Crest.
I'm going to go with Golden and Grove at Wake Forest.
Okay, fair enough.
The Tailgate Special from Smithfield's Chicken and Barbecue.
It's 8 pieces of chicken, a pint of barbecue, any 2 sides, 2 dozen hush puppies, and a whole gallon of tea.
Just go to realtailgate.com for details, coupons, and a list of locations that open early on game day.
We'll move on to the next question now, and it's about some rankings. So Emory Business School released their statistical analysis of the best football fans in the ACC. UNC ranked 4th. State ranked 10th, Duke 11th, and Wake Forest dead last. Is this accurate? I'm going to start with Sean since he ended up last both ways last time.
I don't have a problem with the top of their list. Clemson was number 1, Virginia Tech was number 2. I think that's pretty accurate. Then I started wondering if maybe they sorted by color, because I don't see how Syracuse could possibly be number 3. I've covered Syracuse. That's like a Wake Forest game when you go to a home game in Syracuse. So I didn't see that there. I don't know that revenue is the best way to measure fandom, and that's the methodology that they use. NC State drew more fans than UNC last year. NC State, I think, has a more vocal fan base. They have a louder fan base. You don't see the acres of empty seats at Carter Finley Stadium like you do at Keenan early in the season. And yet Carolina was 4th, State was 10th. That made no sense to me at all. So the top of it was accurate, and I think the other conferences were similar to that. I know that Texas and Oklahoma were 1-2 in the Big 12, but then TCU popped up 3rd. So it seems like they've got the top correct, but past that, their methodology needs some work.
I hear you. I wondered myself if they didn't count NC State's investigative reporting fans. But anyway, let's move on to James Curl here.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have some very clouded and complicated thoughts on the matter. No, I don't know. I have taken issue with some of the Emory studies before. There was one that they released this past spring about conversion rates of college basketball programs sending players to the NBA relative to the talent that they bring in. And I even engaged the gentleman who runs the Emory Twitter account, trying to get him to nail down his methodology. Okay, how are you coming to these numbers? And he kept saying, well, yeah, I'd be happy to discuss it with you. And I kept saying, well, yes, discuss it with me. And he said, well, and I never could get a straight answer from the guy. And I feel the same way here. It feels like it's a lot of, methodology that seems like it's taking an easy answer and making it far more complicated than it needs to be. He's looking at, I guess, revenue and other things like that. I mean, just look at the number of people that are, like Sean said, number of people that are in the stands, number of people that engage online, on message boards, do investigative journalism of their rival programs. These are all ways that, fan bases make themselves known. I mean, it didn't make any sense to me. I mean, I thought Wake Forest coming in dead last didn't make any sense to me because, I mean, I've been to several games over in Winston-Salem, and they, while they have a smaller stadium, they get people in the seats. And for a school that only has, I think, at one time, weren't they the smallest FBS school among all the FBS programs? I think they only have 2,500 students. I mean, they support Wake Forest football at least better than dead last in the league. I didn't agree with the methodology, and I'm going to take off my rival hat and just say that I politely disagree with having UNC at number 4 as well.
Fair enough. Ben, how about you?
Well, I mean, let's be honest. This is coming from Emory, which means that they're probably rejected from all of the North Carolina business schools. So it's a little bit of a bias here.
Who handles the hate mail? The hate tweet? Okay.
Directly
We have people to
It's the
cover
same
that.
guy who does the streaming. They really have to.
Keep going, Ben. We got people to cover that stuff. Go ahead.
I mean, you're looking at fan bases in terms of tradition. I don't think it's hard to put Duke and Wake last in that area. It takes a special kind of character to be a Duke and a Wake Forest football fan. So I have a hard time personally saying that they're last, but in any kind of ranking, you're definitely going to do that because Duke will never be a football school, and I don't think Wake will get there either, just because of sheer size. So I'm okay with it. I've also been to plenty of games at Carter Finley, and had way more fun than someone that would have ranked them 10th. So I disagree with where NC State is.
I mean, we had a shirtless fat guy at the Florida State game this year. That should have been worth at least 4 or 5 spots.
I asked about being able to replicate that on this show. Haven't gotten the answer yet, so I'll let you know.
I got pretty close with my sleeveless shirt that I wore pre-show. Spared the folks at home.
I'm going to bounce back across my little row down here and ask Shane, what do you think about this ranking?
Well, I've met a lot of nerds in my life. I've met comic book nerds. I'm a history nerd. There's a lot of nerds, but I never thought I would meet an Emory Studies nerd. So, James, thank you. I definitely didn't expect a long discourse on how much Emory Studies are terrible. But no, in all seriousness, I'm furious on James Curl's behalf because UNC fans are atrocious. If there's a noon game, we all know they're not showing up. The stadium stinks. It's a bottleneck. You can't get a soda at halftime. I think NC State fans, having never been to an NC State game at their stadium, I'm willing to say they're far superior to UNC, and I think 10th is too low.
Okay, fair
and
enough.
also though, can we say that Duke's tradition of dangling the keys on the kickoff, easily one of the top 5 college football traditions going right now.
Top 5.
That's a joke, but
yeah. Fair enough. JP.
I was just thinking, Shane, the Wake students do the same thing. So I get. Does that put us in the top 6?
Well, who was first?
We got an Orange Bowl, so I'll go with the Wake fans. But yeah, that bit of separation between UNC and State is absolutely atrocious. Last time I went to Keenan, it's a beautiful setting, and that's about it. You spend a lot of time hearing about the blue zone, and that's all you see is blue because there's nobody in it for most of the game. But Carter. There's no question, State fans, as much as I like to make fun of them, they're the best fans in the ACC, and as far as North Carolina goes in the ACC. They're louder. It feels almost like nobody hate me, but an SEC feel when you go to the Carter for a big game. So, I have problems with their methodology as well.
Maybe, it just occurred to me, maybe this guy that did the study is dating somebody at Carolina.
Jan Boxell, most likely.
Or has a really awful ex from State. Maybe, who knows? Last but not least, of course, in many ways, Dimitri.
Cruel, Waldo, cruel. Well, listen, let me speak to Monday's assessment there of it being like an SEC environment. As someone who went to an SEC school, no, it is nothing like an SEC environment, not even close. But it is absolutely one of the best things going, easily the best going in the state of North Carolina, and easily one of the 3 best going in the ACC. Now, Wake being dead last, I do wonder if the folks at Emory have never heard of Boston College, a school that no bowl tied into the ACC wanted to take. In fact, I have a friend that now works for the Chick-fil-A Bowl that said they would root openly. Those 2 years they played Virginia Tech, the Chick-fil-A Bowl contingent rooted openly for Boston College to win those games, so they did not even have to discuss having the Eagles in that game. That is the worst college football fan base probably in the entire BCS conference structure because they are all Patriots fans first and foremost.
Oh.
Can I just say real quick, Jay, that I trust Dimitri more than anybody else here because based on the wall behind him, he's graduated from at least 5 different universities.
Let me just show these off real quick. And just,
oh, there's more.
Hang on. Wife's.
Oh, humble brag.
Why have you been married so many times?
All that
How are you collecting their diplomas?
That's Ben with the line of the Hangout.
All right. So did I cover everybody? I think I covered everybody on that one, yeah?
Yeah.
Excellent. Let's move on to our last question. Again, another one from our distributed list. Student identifying herself as the girl who wears the Virginia Tech mascot uniform at football games grabbed national headlines last week by sending a letter to Sub Pop asking Nirvana to appear in a hype video for Virginia Tech's homecoming game. Was Nirvana a good choice, or is there a better musician, band, etc., who is no longer living who would be great for a football hype video?
Do you know about
it's a weird question. I don't know who came up with it.
Well, as I understand it, John Lennon will be performing Imagine to close out.
Think about this. The girl that sent that in has probably been alive less time than Kurt Cobain has been dead.
That's just a weird... Wow. Okay, fair enough.
Do Tupac holograms count?
Maybe they could get Courtney Love.
Yeah,
why not? She's not doing much else these days.
We have a time limit. Somebody refresh me, producer.
We got 7 minutes.
We're gonna go 7 more minutes. All right. Well, I'm gonna just fill that thing
Plenty
up
of time
a little
to
bit.
flesh this out.
Yeah, let's fill it up a little bit. Let's continue on this sort of same topic before we leave it.
Well, look, there's only one answer, and if you've seen the Blurred Lines video, it's simple. You want Robin Thicke as long as he brings those girls with him.
Is he dead?
Yeah, and after he's dead, I would say too, especially Robin Thicke.
Yeah.
He's got great post-mortal potential.
Wait, is our criteria only dead?
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah.
Actually, I was gonna move along and ask you another question.
Oh, fair enough.
But apparently you used all that knowledge behind you and you
From the 7 wives.
That's right.
Musical intros for college football. Obviously, we got at least one really, 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 really good one in the ACC, being Virginia Tech using Metallica's Enter Sandman. I think I read they're not the first to do it, but you can pretty much dismiss the other school. I think it's Purdue or somebody.
Well, Mariano Rivera. That's Mariano Rivera's song.
Exactly.
So they've already stolen it once.
Yeah.
I think Virginia uses Ant Marching by Dave Matthews.
Wow.
Wow. Do they burn incense in the stadium when they do that?
No, but it takes 45 minutes. And it's just a long jam.
That's a live version.
Yeah.
An extended fiddle solo in the beginning that's 12 minutes long.
And it just
By
leads right
Club.
into All Along the Watchtower.
It's perfect. All right, James, how many DMV shows have you been to, James? You sound like somebody with knowledge.
Just one.
Because I've been to 28, so.
I guarantee you this year someone uses Radioactive by Imagine Dragons, because that song is everywhere.
Well, this
Fair enough.
past week, Dave Doran asked on Twitter for suggestions for the Wolfpack intro song, and was bombarded by tons of
Hungry Like the Wolf.
facetious
Werewolves
answers.
of London.
Yes, every Wolf song possible. Yeah, but it did kind of get you wondering what would be a good one. We've used drowning pools, bodies.
Bodies hit the floor.
We've used PODs. What is it? Boys from the South? I don't know. I can't remember.
Boom, right? Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah. There you go.
What do you just exchange tapes with Wake Forest? Because that's what the Wakes used over the last 5 years.
Hey, we did it first, pal. The Coach Huxtable suggested a Johnny Cash song, which I thought would have gone over pretty awkwardly, but I don't know. It's tough because you start asking questions. Okay, is it about the fans? It is about the kids that you're recruiting. If you have kids on a recruiting visit, are you going to want Johnny Cash playing, or are you going to want T.I. or Robin Thicke or whoever? I don't know what kind of recruits you would get playing Blurred Lines, but
a good dance team.
Yes.
Someone this year needs to use that new Kanye track, Black Skinhead. Unfortunately, when he drops an N-bomb about 5 seconds in, we have a problem.
Well, they did play Bands and Make Her Dance at the ACC tournament, so.
Well, unless anyone has something, like.
Is everybody else hearing this? Or?
Yes.
Jay was absorbed by the Matrix.
Right?
That's the most ACC way to end this.
Yeah.
Well, as a producer, is Ben going to be fired after the show? Or?
Yeah, I believe so. No,
Are you on the hot seat?
Producer. I'm not the technical producer.
Ben, why don't you wrap it up for us?
All right. Now?
Yes.
Yeah, like you might say goodbye or thank you for watching. There's a whole thing of things you can say.
Thank you all very much for joining us tonight in the Smithfield Barbecue Real Tailgate College Football Hangout. We'll be back again next week at 9:30 in the same spot you found us tonight. You can leave us questions on the Google page. Find us on Twitter. We're all over the place, but we appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you to all of our guests. You guys want to do a quick parting shot and say goodbye?
Yeah, before we go, the first podcast of the year is a week from today, Wednesday. Jim Grobe is our guest.
My parting shot will just be the greatest tradition in college sports history. That's good enough for me.
I'll simply say #GoACC.
Janis Joplin is my dead artist that I would pick.
Right on.
Crest was frozen for like 10 minutes. Well, Jay's back. Jay, do you want to sign us off here?
All right. Yeah, I guess that's a wrap. We'd like to thank our sponsor.
That silence means he's not back, and or no.
You can't hear me?
I hear him.
can.
Or I'm hallucinating.
What? You want to run this thing, Dimitri? I'm just kidding. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Smithfield's Chicken and Barbecue, reminding you again, it's just not a tailgate without the barbecue. Make sure you check out realtailgate.com.
Are we all just sitting here in silence?
Now, guys, Waldo can be heard, so please stop interrupting him, asking if it's silence.
Can you actually hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I think
Okay.
Dimitri has gone deaf. So power through, Jay.
Oh, okay. I'll just keep clucking along, I guess. I wanted to plug the show for Dimitri. The RealTailgate.com College Football Podcast. It's available on RealTailgate.com, themesh.tv, or on iTunes. Again, I'm your host, Big J Waldo. Our producer, Ben Swain, and our technical folks over at Talking Moose Media. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy it. We'll see you next week.
The Tailgate Special from Smithfield's Chicken and Barbecue. It's 8 pieces of chicken, a pint of barbecue, any 2 sides, 2 dozen hush puppies, and a whole gallon of tea. Just go to realtailgate.com for details, coupons, and a list of locations that open early on game day.
Themesh.tv, an online network of original free audio and video shows based out of Western North Carolina, reaching the entire world. Listen and watch through iTunes or through the website themesh.tv.